there! Welcome and welcome back to the Whole Bucket and the long-awaited return of the Friday Freebie feature. Only today it's doing double duty. This is also the continuation of How Do You Do? Round 2. So, this is my second batch of stuff that comes out of the How Do You Do pack. If you don't know what that is, I will link the playlist at the end of this video, and you can take a look at the unboxing of the supplies and the first project I did with the supplies, etc. So this was in the package of How Do You Do, and so were these flowers and this string and this metal thingy and this ribbon, I think, although I'm not sure. And I did the flower thingy and these little pieces of paper and that barcode and these pins. This was not. These three things were. So a piece of strange trim, and I think I said in my unboxing, I don't know what this is, either that or in a different video I did, but this was actually from me. So if any of you ladies are wondering who sent this in, this was me. And it's a lovely trim, but it's not, it's sort of paper, but it's not, and it's not lace, but whatever. I don't know what it is, and I'm not sure what to do with it. Some lace paper. I love, love, love. This is just the guts from the napkin, because I've already divided it. This was not in the pack. This was, sorry for the glare. It's a little bit brutal on the eyes. This was not. And then now I'm on to the freebie, Friday Freebie feature department of this project. So let me put that over there. Let me put that over there. Most of what I'm working with today, as you can see, is from the kit from How Do You Do. This pile of stuff I will show to you super quickly. And this is some Friday Freebie features. Links, if you want to find these things or these artists, will be in the description box, as well as all the links for How Do You Do. So if you want to see what people are up to and what you can get for free on the internet and all kinds of stuff, take a look down there. This is from Luise Heinzl, and she did these little birdies. I think they were in sepia tones. I just did it in black and I just printed it in black and white, and I didn't back any of these. Okay, so I didn't back any of these little birdies. I have this freebie. This is from G. Kerr at Happiness in Crafting, and this is, I don't even remember what week it was, but this is an older one from a while ago, right? And this one I also did in black and white. Here is the return of one from Luise Heinzl. This one I did back, and I backed it onto another freebie from Luise Heinzl. So I have 3 different freebie bits from her. And I'm not sure if we'll end up using these birds or these birds, or, I mean, they're so different. These are like illustrations of real birds, and these are definitely cartoon birds, but maybe they can go in the same journal. I don't know. I don't know. This page, gosh, this is such a mishmash. This page is from Debbie at Ink and Page, and this is from her Halloween kit, which I'm going to be doing a different day. But I black and whited it. I black and whited it. And printed it out 3 different ways. So the contrast and the brightness were changed in all 3 of these, so that I could get some variety. The difference between these 2 is minimal. Sometimes I think, yeah, I can see the difference, and other times I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no difference. But there really is. This one you can clearly see is different. Okay, enough of that. And this is back to G. Kerr at Happiness in Crafting. I printed this one in color and in black and white, because this in color, in fact, it's right here next to me. It's so pretty. Look at that. Don't look at that part, because my cat spilled her water and kind of wrecked it right there. I'm going to have to print it out again or live with it having a water stain. But just a beautiful folio cover. And just in case you want to see, Luise Heinzl's is also sitting over there. I kind of forgot, but there's that cartoon bird. He comes in blue, and there is the backing paper that I did in black and white. There's the colors it comes in, and there's the other colors it comes in. What else do I have? Oh, that's different. Okay, different project. Okay, anywho, so I have all this stuff. Here is the one, this is like a masterboard cheating or something that Luise did. And there's the birdies, another copy. So, the point of turning everything black and white, I don't know if you've noticed, but a very large percentage of the stuff that I've gathered for this particular How Do You Do project is in black and white, except for this raspberry color, this purple, and the ribbon, right? So I'm only going to be adding touches of berry colors. And actually, now that I'm looking at this in real life, you can tell even more, but the background of this is a very berry. It goes with these very much. So I kind of like the way that turned black and white. Okay, so there's our supplies. There's what I did. There's my plan, and we will move on to using it in just a minute. First things first. Let me put that over there. First things first is this. I am going to use, poor thing, you can see that the book that used to live here is no longer. It's gone, baby, gone. What am I trying to say? Oh, so I'm using these boards, these book boards from an old book. But I want to paint them. So all I'm going to do is plain matte black acrylic paint. And you can't get cheaper. This is, I think this is Joann's House Blend. And, oh, wow, okay, well, that was interesting. It was a little stuck. There must be a little dried bit in there. Oh, yeah, big dried bit. Look at that. Can you see it pulling? There it is. Let's just set that aside. And it broke, and then I got a flood. Okay, so this is all I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to get it thin enough so that you can still see the texture of the fabric that this book was first covered in. And we're going to set this aside to dry a bit while I work on the next part. So I wanted to do an altered book. This isn't exactly an altered book. It definitely is in the junk journal department since I'm using boards from a book, right? But there's so little left of what used to be a book that this doesn't really, I don't know, this doesn't count as altered book. It definitely counts as junk journal. Alright, so let me get I'll have to get the edges when I turn it all over, but I at least got on edge so far. Let me see, can I get this one too? Sure, why not? Okay, now let's push this aside. Let this dry. It's got another chunk There we go. And I'll show you what we're going to do next. As soon as I get the paint off of me, because, you know, it's going to wreck everything if I really, oh my goodness, what a mess. All right. I'm going to be making this into a very small book. So this little tiny thing is a 1/4 inch strip of cardstock, and it's going to be the spine for a hardcover journal. Woohoo! And I think either this or this. Come on, where's the other one? There it is. So I think that one of these, this black and white one, or one of these, is going to be the inside liner of this journal. Yep. Okay, so I think it's going to be this one, because I like it better. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use the darker, no, I'll use the lighter one. Because since the outside is going to be so dark, I'll use the lighter one on the inside. And here's what I intended to do. I'm wondering if, so this is going to go this way in the journal. And this is going to be on this side. Oh gosh, I'm not even using words. So what I'm trying to figure out is if these will fit all on one page. Oh, it sure looks like it. So I don't need much of a space between the spine and the book board. And this is way taller than it needs to be, so I should have measured this ahead of time, but since those are wet, I'm just going to leave it. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue this right down the center. I'm just trying to figure out which way I'm supposed to do this. I think it needs to be on the other side. Okay, if I glue it here, then those would be glued here. So if I glue it here, wow, I am seriously confused. I'm going to pause for a minute because I have completely lost my plan. Okay, plan reacquired. So yeah, I'm going to take this and glue this to right there. And you can see I even took an extra moment to mark approximate center. Doesn't matter too terribly much. I do want to get this as straight as I can without being over fussy. So I'm going to put this on my I am going to put this on my mat in a way that I can at least see some lines to use. There we go. Okay. So then one strip of glue ought to do it. And we're going to have to let that dry for a bit, because it will slip and slide around. There we go. All right. So now, when this dries a little bit, I'm going to flip this paper over. I'm going to put some creases down each side of the spine so that this paper is set down to the bottom of the thickness of the spine cardstock. And then those boards are going to be glued on the opposite side. So, what am I saying? I'm saying this bit, center. Well, okay, that was really, really not very smart of me. Hang on a sec. Let me make sure I didn't wreck anything terribly bad. I don't know if you saw what I did, but I slid one of the ends to match the mark that I made with pencil instead of leaving it lined up with the matte markings. Okay, there we go. And it's starting to get a little stuck, so we can talk about what's next. I'm gonna take a bone folder. No. Is that what it is? A bone folder? I don't seem to know where mine is. It should be in this. Oh, it's right there. It should be in that container. It wasn't. It was in the one next to it. That's all it takes to confuse me. So, let me make sure that that is nice and burnished down. It also gives me a little bit of an outline of where that spine is so that I can see where to begin. So now I'm making sure that this paper is creased down along the spine. Let me just make sure it's still nice and even where it belongs. That's the key right there. Actually lined up in the center. Wow, yeah, it's staying pretty good. Okay. So, I'm going to crease that side again. Then I will flip it because I'm right-handed. I will hold with my left hand while I swoosh and burnish and etc. with my right. And get that nice and smooshed in there. Smoosh, smoosh, smoosh. Okay. So, I did not mean to throw that down. First of all, I don't have a decent spacer. This one is way too wide for what I want to do here. But basically what I'm going to do is take those two boards that we just painted and I'm going to glue them just a hair away from that spine. And I want it to be nice and even. So I'm going to find something. I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm going to hit pause again. And I'm going to find something that will hold a nice even line for me so I get this lined up properly. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's take a look at what's next. So I am going to place these where I want them. And here's what I did. I just took two pieces of that cardstock and glued them together so that I can then just push this right into place when it comes time for gluing. For right now though, all I'm going to do is mark a starting point and trace around this. I don't think this is the most convenient way to do this. I think there's probably lots better ways to get my bookbinding in. But I am not that great at this. And I haven't done it very many times. In fact, I haven't done this particular way any times. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I've only watched it a couple of times. And it was a while ago. So I don't know how this is going to turn out or even why I'm doing it. So I'm trying to line up I'm trying to line up the top and bottom. Right now it doesn't matter that much if it's a little off. That looks pretty good though. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and mark a little starting point and trace around. So here's the thing. The starting point is what I want to connect with each other. And that's how long the spine and this little strip of cardstock will be. And then I'm going to indent a little bit and follow the line indented. So here's what I mean by that. Let's just go ahead and do it, right? I'll get out my finger blade thingy jobber and a ruler to use as a guide. I really wish it wasn't this one, but it is. And I'm going to, as straight lined as I can, connect the top, connect the first two dots. Okay, let's get that nice and even. Then let's figure out where these dots are. About here. This is trimmable later, but it needs to be fairly close to what I want to end up with. So I'm going to mark that one right there, and I'm going to mark this one right here. Whoops, and I'm going to break my pencil. All right, now, I don't know why I put that aside, because I need my ruler. Nope. You know what? I just don't. You know what I need to do? I think I need to hand cut this. So here's why. So I'm going to start at one of the dots and cut straight across to the other dot. And then I'm going to just angle in just a little bit. And well, I don't know how much. I suppose this is trimmable. So I'm going to angle in just a little bit. This must be like 1/8 of an inch or 1/16. Must be 1/8. And I'm just going to follow the line. And then when I get close to that, I'm going to go back up to the dot, cut straight across. Gosh, I hope this works. And then follow around again. All the way around and angle up to the last dot. Okay, there's what I wanted. I don't know if this will end up being a good product or not. Couldn't tell you. What I can tell you is we're going to go ahead and move forward as if this was completely brilliant and is going to be flawless. Yeah, good luck with that. Somewhere over here is my gluing spatula. I have a gluing spatula. Okay, there it is. And let's do Fabri-Tac on this because that would be really good. So I'm going to put Fabri-Tac in a nice line set in from where this book is binding is going to be set, or this book board, I mean. And then I'm going to use my spatula to pull it across. And I did not put nearly enough glue. It won't go. Come on, glue, you can do it. Okay, we're doing better. Let's go across this part. Okay, first book board is going on. Where's my spacer thingy jobber? Technical name for my technical tools. Spacer thingy jobber. And I'm going to try to make sure that this gets centered. Like so. Gosh, I hope that worked. Find out in a minute. We'll find out shortly. Now I am going to use this spacer of mine because I can't, because the shoot rats, bummer, drag. There we go. I can now at least a little bit, it looks like it's not going to be perfect, but I can at least a little bit make sure that the other side is, you know, fairly parallel. Parallel? Adjacent? Sits evenly. Alright, let's get some glue on the other side. Anyway. Anywho. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put that middle line down right away too. And hopefully I don't have to keep putting more glue on, that I can just do the swipe. Much better. Much better. Okay. Now this one is gonna go okay, this is not the best spacer in the world. I'm gonna have to get something much better. But I still want to do the same thing. I'm taking this book board and centering it in its space. that's fairly good. Okay. It's really stuck. So it is what it is. This is all it's going to be, no matter what I do next. But let's take a look and see what we got. All right. All right, all right, all right. We have a book cover, right? So we have that and this. And this is going to fold on this side. Just making sure that that paper is nice and stretched and that these hinges will work. And let's see what we got. Ho, 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 look at that. We have ourselves a lovely little hardcover journal. Lovely. Okay, so the next step is some tape that I have. This is a very serious tape. Serious. So I'm going to let it drape down the table, and I'm going to try to get this book centered over the tape. As evenly as I can. But the honest truth is, once I get it down, I'm at its mercy. It's going to do whatever the heck. In fact, I just really screwed up. Don't screw up, lady. Alright, well, it's down. So, whatever. Done. I'm out of luck here. Out of luck. For getting it any better. That's as good as it's gonna get. It won't matter too terribly much. Let's see how far this reaches. That's kind of perfect right there. So I'm gonna cut this tape so that it just comes up and around the bottom. Let go of the scissors, please. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, let's put the tape away. Let's pull this up around the bottom. It's wrinkled and I don't want it to. Oh, I'm out of luck. Out of luck, man. Not very forgiving, this tape. Alright, and this one. Pull this one down to the other bit, and there we go. Now, I'm going to work this tape into that crease as well, as soon as I find it. There we go, right there. And 1/4 inch over. And do it on this side as well. I want that nice and worked in. It will stretch out the fibers and make the opening and closing of the book as smooth as it can be. Now with Fabri-Tac and this tape both holding this book together, this is going to take a while to loosen up. So, you know, that's up to the owner. The someday owner will have to work on that. But there's what we ended up with. We ended up with 2 book boards turned into a book cover, and a nice cover at that. I know you can't feel things through video, but if you could feel this, you would feel that it's pretty darn sturdy. I'm going to go ahead and paint these edges, and then let that set aside to dry, and then we will move on to other things. Okay, everybody. Just like that. Look, everything's different. So I paused the video. I don't remember what I said when I paused it. I don't know if I let you know I was pausing it. I don't always have to let you know. I know that. And I probably say it too often. But in this case, I wish I had, because some things happened after I hit that pause button. And I've actually been away for, oh my gosh, 8, 9. I've actually been away for about 7 hours. When I came back to my desk, I couldn't really remember where we had left off and what I had or hadn't said, and I realized that I did not have a signature ready for this journal. So I'm like trying to get my feet on the ground, trying to get my head around what to create for a signature in this journal. And I realized I just had a bunch of my brain scatter. I had a bunch of brain scatter. So, I decided to just go with some plain gray copy paper that I have. And I put a piece of cardstock in the center, which I will show you. It's that birdie, right? But I did a little bit of changing because one of the things that happened while I was away is that my cat spilled her water on my desk. And the original birdie page is now, ow! Oh, ouch! Is now stained with water. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, I don't think that's gonna bleed. I think that's just skin deep. Alright, alright. Look it. I just cut the skin right open on my thumb. Nice going, lady. Nice going. Okay. Anywho. It left the birdie page with a bit of a water wrinkle, a water stain, some staining. And usually I don't mind that because we are talking junk journals and it's not the end of the world and what have you, right? But for some reason, I just didn't want this to have that particular oh, here it is too. Right there. It kind of runs right into his head. And it actually is a tiny bit on his face, not too much. I could have let it go, but for some reason I couldn't let it go. You know? So, I reprinted and made some decisions about the signature and did some prepping, like the making the holes and, you know, all that jazz to proceed. And now I'm back. And I feel like I'm back on a roll. I hope. Whoops, sorry about that. Ooh, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. This is both on the same side. We want one on each side of the center. And I made this super long, as you can tell. I think I made it longer than I realized. I pull this tight and get it tied, and then we'll have an actual book. I hope. Oh, that's awfully low though. That's alright. Let me shift that a little bit. Alright, I think we're good. Right there. There we go. Let's take the clips off. Let's see if we have an actual book. Do we have an actual book now? Look at that. Look at that. Ah! We have an actual book. I'm going to pause again. I'm going to put a bandage on this because it looks like it's threatening to actually bleed. I suppose I should wash it too, because it, yeah. Just a second. Okay, we are back in business. So, we have ourselves a journal. That's so exciting. I love when it works out. I mean, even if it doesn't, we just adjust and redo it, right? I'm gonna slip knot this a couple of times. This is not a slip knot though. I honestly don't remember how to make slip knots. I really should look it up so I can remember. When I was a kid, I thought that was just the coolest thing ever. Okay, there we go. We have a journal. So let me pull the supplies back over and I'll show you what we have to work with and what I know I intend to do. And then we can make some further plans. Oh, the fun stuff. There it is, the fun stuff. It is amazing, truly amazing, how fast I can turn a desk into a complete disaster. Are you with me? Are you also a very talented disaster maker? I am a very talented disaster maker. Okay, so disaster pieces and slip knot, and I'm sensing a very heavy metal trend this evening. It's a very heavy metal trend this evening. All right, so the first thing I can show you that I intend to do for sure is take this piece that I've already trimmed down to size to make sure it would even work. But this is going to be added to the cover at some point, like so. Gosh, that's pretty. Just love that. Then I thought, where is it? I thought I could take this piece. I'm not going to turn it over just yet. I want you to be prepared to cover your eyes if necessary. But this is the silver metallic piece. And I thought about cutting this down maybe right about here, right? So it sits like a picture bit there. And then scruffing the whole thing up, maybe even more than I did the gold piece in the other book, so that the shiny part is really at a minimum. But you can tell it was there. That sounds tricky to me. I'm getting that balance just right, but making it look super old and then edging it in black ink and letting hopefully the ink soak in. Okay, that's a lot of hoping. Anyway, let's turn it over and see what I mean. So guard your eyes in case this is terrible. Oh, you can see me. Wait. Ooh, trick of mirrors. So it would be a piece to go right in there. And it would be highly grungied. You know what I think? I think we should just go for it. Let's try it and see if it'll even work. That way we'll know it right away how to progress. Right away. We're going to trim this. Right about here. Should really tear this. No, because I can't tear the other edges. I will scruffy the edges. You know what I can do though? I can put the paint away and the paint pad away. Because I think we're done painting the cover. If it needs more treatment, it can be with a little tiny brush. We'll see how that works. Let me grab... Actually, no, we can just do it on the back of this. Let's grab the birdies and flip the birdies over and flip this over. Cover up as much as we can and start scrubbing. Wow, that's a lot of wiggle. I apologize. Good grief. I'm not paying any attention. I just want to go fast to get this glare. Okay. That's actually looking pretty good. Look how grungy that's looking now. A little extra on the edges. Can you see why I did this on a piece of paper? You can only see a little shadows, but those shadows are you know, little metal bits and paper bits. All right, let me dump this quick. We'll keep the birdie and just get rid of the dust part. Now, I'm going to take my skizzers. I have one of those little thread trimmers that you use for embroidery. One of those circles with the divots in it that you can run across a thread and it will cut a thread. And wouldn't you know, that I don't know where I put it. It's got to be in my tools department somewhere. But yeah, it's beyond me where I actually put the darn thing. I know it's here, like right in front of me somewhere. Someday I'll run across it and I will just have one of those moments where I'm like, oh, good grief, girl. Oh. In lieu of that, I have a scissor, and I will just take this scissor and run it on the edge. Whoops, it's okay that I ripped it. I didn't really want to rip it, but I do want to scruffy it, so just a little over scruffied right there. There we go. Scruffiness is being achieved. Now I am scruffing it from the back, just, you know, to be sure the glare is to a minimum. But I don't know what I'm getting on the other side. Hopefully, we're getting what we want on the other side. I can see that the paper is getting scruffied, but it looks like the metallic finish on the front is not getting scruffied. And I think that's a little bit funny. It also might not be 100% true, but it's at least partially true. Whoops. Alright, let's clean this up. Yikes. Let's get out the black ink, because I think we're going to start the ink part. Yeah, look. Like right there and stuff. The metal bit is bent and wrinkly, but still fairly intact. Ooh, that's funny. There's some ripped bits. I think I'll just leave them there, not pull them off. think they'll look better as tears rather than missing chunks. Look at here too. The aluminum is wrinkled and damaged and what have you, but not scruffy. That's crazy. This is some tough paper, man. Tough paper. So I'm going to try to just do it a little bit from the front to see if I can get through the aluminum. Not really. Wow. I'm really having to work to get that aluminum off. I'm not going to stress it anymore. Let's just get some edging on this thing. Wow. Sorry. It really, really, really just wants to... I'm going to try something. It really, really just wants to... something I can't think of. So I don't think this is going to work now that I've already started it. So I'm just going to make sure I do it the whole way so whatever happens is the same everywhere. But I was thinking I'm going to put some black soot on the back and then spray it with water and try to get it to go through. But Distress Oxide was sprayed with water bleaches out. So it's really probably not going to do much of anything, to be honest. Let's find out. And as soon as I've given this a second to soak into the paper, oh, I was going to say I'll blot off some extras, but I have no towel here. I suppose I could use just a paper. I'll just use a piece of paper and pull up some extras. Well, it's soaking in nice. I don't know that it's going to do anything to the front, but my question mark was, I wonder if black on the back will seep through more on the parts that are sanded more and kind of show through like an aged mirror would. You know, when mirrors get aged under the glass, they look mottled. I don't think I can get anything that fancy. But what if it kind of creates an effect? Did it create an effect? If it did, I can't tell that it did. I would need a before and after to actually tell. Okay, it did create some edges though, and we're going to create some more. So let's get to the black permanent ink, because that's where the real magic is going to happen. Look at what it's doing. It is creating some watermark edges. That's kind of cool. I didn't like it on the birdie. I do like it on the silver metallic. Oh, and it's making the layers break apart. So I'm going to have to do this carefully, and I'm going to have to glue with some serious glue when I put this on. So, what I can tell is that this concept of mine might actually work. Like, the ink might seep through and create a difference in this metallic layer. One, I would have to sand it a little more. It doesn't look like a lot. So I would have to sand it some amount more. And I would have to use this kind of permanent ink on the back. So I'm not sure how I'd then get it to seep through. How much would you have to use to get it to seep through and soak in. That would be ridiculous. So let's do a little test. Let's just do this. I'm not going to do any more than this. Just going to see if this makes any difference at all. And then I have to get out my re-inkers because now I've used all my ink to paint. Why? Why, lady? Because why not? That's why. Alright, so now this piece is mostly ready. We're going to have to set it aside to dry, but I am ridiculously impatient. And it's black on black, so I hope I don't wreck anything doing this, and I don't think I will. But there's what it's going to be on the front of this journal. And holy buckets, that's some nasty glare on the screen. But there's what's going on. There's what's going on the front cover. I don't know if there will be anything else, and if so, what would it be? Not a clue. So let me set the cover pieces aside. Now we have more of this to work with. While I was away and had to reprint the birdie page, I changed it from a, it was 2 pieces of paper glued together before, the damaged birdie, right? Was the bird page on one side and the black and white cheating masterboard piece from Luise Heinzl. And now I printed it on cardstock, and I printed something else on the back. And what I did was I took that same cheating masterboard bit, a freebie from Luise. I changed the hue and saturation so that it matched the accent colors that I want in this journal. And then I printed it again. So now we have more pieces that match the ribbon, hopefully. Okay, so now there's the back of the birdie. I did it in another version of the pinks. Well, you can't see that at all. How rude of me. Alright, so we have the black and white birdies. We have the back side of the birdies is this new version of the freebie. This is a slightly different version. I think it's the same. No, it isn't. Okay, never mind. I'm talking and I don't know what I'm saying. This is the other masterboard cheater thing. And I was going to say I think it's the same hue and saturation adjustment, but it's not, because this area over here turned way too green and we don't really have green in the book. So I had to do some playing with it just a little bit. So this is a red violet. This is a little bit more to the purple violet, and this is a little bit more to the purple violet. And the idea is that all 3 of these match all 3 of these. Let's see if I pulled it off. They need to match this ribbon and this little piece of paper and this little piece of paper. And I am going to call it close enough. This is more of a red, and so is this. But I didn't want to go red. So I leaned to the pink side. This is also too red, so I think I'm going to change this somehow. And I think I know how, but it's a big fat mess. So next step, let's see if we can change the ribbon to match all these toys and let it dry. So watch this mess. This is ridiculous. First of all, let me find a color that will work. I think this might work, but it's very bright, but it should mix well. That might work better because this leans to the purple a bit more. Let's try it and see. So let's take that same piece of paper. we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a scrap paper here too. And we're going to put the ribbon down. And then we're just going to dye it with ink. Now, let's see if we're getting anything. It is changing the color, but now it's wet and I can't tell exactly how it changed to the color. Unfortunately, once it's done and started, it's done and started, right? So you got to keep going or you're going to end up with a bunch of stuff you don't like. So I'm going to keep going with this color and then I'm going to see if I have a darker blue. Actually, I know I have a darker blue on the other side of me. So I'm going to grab a darker blue and see if we can turn this into a purple. I like the way it's separating out the fabric too. Look at the cool pattern it's making in this fabric. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before when I run a fabric through a dye or a ink pad like this. Well, I don't think I've ever seen it do this, but I love it. All right, so that is definitely more of a maroon. It's also not dry, so like I said, hard to tell. I can kind of see that it's not tipping purpley enough, but it's definitely getting closer. So yeah, let's try that blue. Where are ya? I know you're here. Nope, that would be green. There you are. Let's try this one. Okay. Ready? Oh, I think we're onto something now. I'm not going to pull this all over because it's going to lose the raspberry color and it's going to get too dark. I do kind of want it to be, you know, a bit of a show off. So there, I think that's all I'm doing. Let's let that sit aside to dry. Whoa! And we're getting some nice collage water. Collage water! Now, what do we do with all this stuff? We have birdies and an envelope and a little metal thingy jobber and pins and napkins and string and blah 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 blah. I think I have decided a handful of stuff I'm not going to use. So this is another freebie that I printed and cut out. It's got these flowers. It's somewhere in here. There's a bunch of different sizes of this flower and this envelope pocket thingy jobber. And I think I'm going to skip this because I don't like the gray that it turned into, but I don't know for sure that I'll skip it. So let's just put it over here. I think it's out of the picture for now. Oh, there's the other flowers. So the reason I picked them though is because look how nice they go. I think they go fabulous with this flower. I just think they do. Okay, they might have to go back in the mix because I think that's a good combo right there. Oh, and then we have the lace paper. And we have the napkin. And we have a bunch of scrap papers. So here, I know what's next. Let's take one of, I know what's next. Let's take this page of the new paper that I created and glue this onto it. Gosh, I hope this works because I only have one napkin. Oh, that's totally going to work, isn't it? That's totally going to work for creating some tags out of them. I think that color's going to come through. Okay, here we go. Here goes nothing or everything. I'm just going to go for it. I could be more cautious. I could cut that napkin in half and only try this with half of it and, you know, see if I'm happy or not, but I'm not going to do that. I'm throwing caution to the wind. There's something under there that my glue caught on, and look, it just left a giant glue puddle. Oh, it's that little metal piece. It just chomped my glue. Okay, there we go. Wee, wee. All right, I think that shows through enough and very nicely. I was afraid it wouldn't show through at all, but it does. It does. And now we're going to let that dry. And we're already over our hour, and this was not even a whole Friday freebie feature because I haven't even gotten to the Friday freebie bit very much. So I'm making a how do you do journal out of at least the cover boards from an old book. A poor old book. That's all there was left of the thing. And there is a Friday freebie saying, this was Happy Birthday Sasha on Luise Heinzl's Friday freebies. And the G Kerr is this flower bit. And oh, and these birdies are also from Luise Heinzl. I'm not going to do a repeat of this Friday freebie feature. But I am going to come back, and instead of showing the process, I will at least show a flip through of this little journal and where the stuff all ended up. And then I'll show it on next Friday's Friday freebie feature, right? I'll show the finish up of this one, and then I'll show you the next piece of how do you do and the next thing we're going to do. And as we go on, the projects get smaller, so it is okay that this one is a little more demanding than an hour would allow. I might do some finishing up touches before we get into the next one. Who knows? Who knows? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of these freebies. Check out the links below to find where you can get these freebies. And what else? I'll see you next week for more how do you do Friday freebie style.